All right, in this movie we want to talk about, we're going to start talking about numbering systems. And the first numbering system we want to talk about is one that you have probably understood your whole life. It's called the decimal system. Numbering systems are not that hard. The problem is that you're so used to one particular system that you don't even think about it as a system. And then when you are introduced to other systems, it seems really confusing. So I figure the best way to do this is to have a really good understanding of the numbering system, the decimal system that you are familiar with already, but to be able to make sure that you're thinking about it in a certain way. So the decimal system, is the beginning is deci, which of course stands for 10. And the decimal system, of course, then is based upon the number 10. And so if I have any kind of a number, like 5,127, this is a way to represent a number in the decimal system. And we have, in this case, 4 place values here. Now, a decimal system is, as we said, based on 10 because there are 10 digits that are used in this particular system. All numbering systems start with the digit 0. That's important. They all start with the digit 0, not 1. They start with the digit 0. And then if I have 10 digits, I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 digits. And you might say, well, I thought it was 10. Well, 10 is not 1 digit. 10 is 2 digits. And it's a 1 and then a 0. So a decimal system, or any numbering system, has just single character digits that it's used. So if there's a 10 system, it would start from 0, go to 0 to 9. We're going to talk about some other systems later, and if I had an octal system, that'd be 8 digits. It would go from 0 to 7. So we have these 10 digits, 0 to 9, that we can use, and so those are the only digits we're going to be able to have in our particular number. So what we have here then is we have place values. We know that this first one, where the 7 is called the ones place. The 2 is in what we call the tens place. The 1 is what we call the hundreds place, and the 5 is what we call the thousands place, and we could keep going up, 10,000, 100,000, and so on. And so you'll see that this is base 10, and what we mean by base 10 is that there's another way to represent these particular place values. We can do 10 as a base with an exponent, and this first place here would be 10 to the 0. 10 to the 0 is, anything to the 0 is 1. This next place is 10 to the 1, this is 10 to the 2, and this is 10 to the 3, and so on, all the way up. So this is what we mean when we talk about a base, the base of a numbering system. The decimal system, it's base 10, which means 10 is your base and to a certain exponent. So the first position in any numbering system is going to be your base to the 0 power. And this goes for any numbering system. So as we learn about our other numbering systems, you have to keep that in mind. So then this would be base to the first power, base to the second power, base to the third power. And that's how we figure out what our number is. So what you see here, we have a 7 in the ones place, or the 10 to the 0 place. And so what you do is you take 7 times 10 to the 0, or 7 times 1, which of course is 7. And then what do we have in the tens place? We have a 2, the digit 2. So we take 2 times, and this is, where is this 2? This 2 is then in the tens place, or 10 to the 1. So we take 2 times 10 to the 1, which means 20. So what this digit 2 means, it's in the tens place. It means you have 2 groups of 10. The 7 here means you have 7 groups of 1, or 7. And you could go up to 9. You could have 9 groups of 1. But when you get up to 10, you have 10 groups of 1. We no longer do that. We say you now have one group of 10, and we would put a 0 in the 1 spot. So this is, I know that we don't think about our numbers like this, but we need to so we can understand other systems, because this is what this system actually is doing. This is the decimal system. You have a 1 in your 100s spot, so I take 1 times 10 to the 2, or 1 times 100 equals 100, and then I have a 5 in the 10 to the 3rd spot, so I take 5 times 10 to the 3rd, and that is 5,000. I can add those all up, and I get 5,127. That's how we get this number. This is the decimal system, base 10. So all you do, and this format is going to work for every system. You take, to figure out the number in decimal format, you take the number that's in that position times the base to the 0. Then you take the next number times the base to 1, take the next number times base to 2, and so on. Add them all up, and you'll have your decimal number. Okay, so I could have like 634. Now, we just know that number 634, but the way we're going to be thinking about it is we're going to take 4 times 10 to the 0, 3 times 10 to the 1, and 6 times 10 to the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, 3 times 10 is 30, 6 times 100 is 600, and we get 634. And if you can remember that process, all systems are going to be easy for you. The problem is that we never think about this, finding a number. We hardly ever think about doing it in this process, although that is what we are always doing. But you learned this a long time ago, back in elementary school, probably when you were even in the 1st or 2nd grade. You had little green squares, and you would group them in up to 10, and then you would switch that out with a 10 piece, and then you got 10 of those, and you'd switch that out with a 100 piece. And we did this. We thought about it in this format. And then after you've used it for 18 years, you stop thinking about it in this format until you advance yourself into some computer science classes. So that's the decimal system, and hopefully you kind of understood that process. And now we'll go on and we'll talk about a binary system, and then some other systems, and an octal system, and other things until we can understand numbering systems.